Nainital, Tamta Metal Craft of Almora, Dikshu Booty, Bhotia wool weaving, Appan art, natural dyeing, and Ringal bamboo basket, Uttarakhand has always had its own ways of finding harmony and belongingness with nature. We who call this region our home mean it. Good afternoon, everyone. I, Anushka, welcome you all to this wonderful session, Indigenous Craft for Sustainability, presented by Clearwater Initiative. Meet our today's panelist, Mrs. Manju Kak ma'am, who is an award-winning author, cultural historian, and filmmaker with a deep focus on Himalayan life and identity. Her acclaimed short fiction collections include First Light in Kolonelpura have won the Katha Award and the British Council Prize. She has edited Nicholas Riorich, A Quest and a Legacy, directed the documentary They Who Walked Mountains, and curated exhibitions like Kashmiri Pandits, a vintage album. Next we have Nikita Verma, who is an architect and an urbanist with degrees from the School of Planning and Architecture Delhi and Bauhaus University Germany. She has worked internationally before settling in Almora, Uttarakhand. She co-runs Studio Bardo and leads event and competitions as Ethos Empowers. Give a big hand for Mrs. Manju Kak and Mrs. Nikita Verma as they take us beyond the destination into the heart of sustainability.
No, you start. You start. No, no.
Architect myself in the region, we always find it challenging to strike that balance between contemporary needs of a project and integrating crafts in it, especially the handcraft, जो शिल्पकार वाला काम होता है. Today we have with us author, historian, researcher Manju Kakji, who's deep dived into the Himalayan spirit through her book In the Shadow of the Devi Kumao, of a land, of a people, of a craft. I had read this book long back without knowing that in the future I'll get a opportunity to actually sit with her and have a conversation around this very topic. It's a lovely book. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. And that's another book by her, A Quest and Legacy, which I don't know much about, to be frank, but I'll let Manjuji speak about it very soon. So let's see how we can explore this intersection between craft and sustainability as we move forward. And I will address my first question. Long roots in the mountains, in the Kumao. You've lived here, studied here for many years. So at what point or what personal experiences in the first place actually made you think about the topic of craft and the mountains together, and hence coming up with this wonderful book that covers this important aspect along with so many other aspects, of course.
Thank you, Nikita. I'm glad you took out the time to talk to me. And this is a book that also is a part of my experience of living in Kumao, studying here. But it actually arose from a sense of finding my own understanding and the dichotomy that we live in. I grew up, I studied in Nainital, where Indu Pandeyji has already mentioned that it's a very different culture. It was in my time very colonial. बहुत अंग्रेजी कल्चर का, एंग्लिसाइज का बहुत उस पर एक छाप थी. एंड हम लोग जब बड़े हुए थे वहाँ, तो ये जो कुमाऊँ है, यहाँ की संस्कृति क्या है, लोग क्या है, खान पान क्या है, इनकी काश्तकला क्या है और ज़बान क्या है, we had no idea. We were living in a small little sort of an enclave of what would have been William's Wordsworth or some little part of England. उस किस्म का हमारी upbringing थी. And therefore, when I actually moved into the house that my husband inherited in Ranikhet Cantonment, it was a very old house, पुराना colonial bangla था और बहुत ही बुरे state में था. So I had to go up many times. to कभी इसमें ये छत उसको बदलनी है, ये करना है, वो करना है. And I started looking for a meaning of coming to the Kumaon. You know, what am I coming here for? So initially I came as a development journalist with the Women's Feature Service, you know, following that whole route of alcoholism and Chipko movement and writing for some foreign newspapers about what the women went through, जो अभी आपका सेशन था. बट धीमे धीमे मैं एक जगह रुक के खड़ी हुई और मैंने देखा कि देयर वाज दिस ब्यूटीफुल डॉरवे. एंड बीइंग एन आर्टिस्ट, आई एम आल्सो एन आर्टिस्ट, एंड यू नो आई लुक्ड एट इट एंड द होल कॉन्ट्रास्ट कि ये गली में और लोग दुकानें हैं, ये है वो है, और पिन क्लिप समोसे, और बीच में ये इतनी खूबसूरत एक दरवाज़ा बना था दैट इट रियली यू नो आई वाज इन अ स्टेट ऑफ शॉक. बागेश्वर के आगे एक छोटा गांव था, हम लोग जा रहे थे मिलम ग्लेशियर to do a short film. I'm not a filmmaker. I made one documentary film called They Who Walk the Mountains, which is on the Bhotia salt, you know, vyapar between China and Tibet, and what is now China, that is Tibet and Kumaon. तो जब मैंने ये दरवाजे देखे, बाजार देखी, तो मुझे अंदर से, you know, I just felt this is an unsung story. ये किसने बनाया? एंड द यूजुअल, जैसे कहते हैं कि 300 साल पहले कोई थे, देवर कारीगर्स, देवर दिस, देवर दैट, इन्होंने बनाया. तो मैंने कही कौन थे? कहीं इनका, आफ्टर ऑल पेंटिंग्स, वर्क ऑफ आर्ट, वी राइट अ सिग्नेचर दैट आई डिड इट. सो हर आर्टिस्ट में, कवि में, एनी लेखक में एक होता है कि मेरी पहचान ज़बान की या किसी की. तो ये चीज़ मुझे एकदम से लगा कि somebody should tell their story. You know, and I called this gentleman who carved that. I said, ये तो गंगू राम की कहानी है. And then I went to Professor M.P. Joshi, जो यहाँ पढ़ाते थे, and he set me off to Pindari Glacier, where along the way there were villages where he said you might still find the Rajmistris. And then in my head came this story कि कहानी गंगू राम की मुझे बतानी है. And of course, everybody asked who's Gangu Ram. I said there is no Gangu Ram. He's the ubiquitous Gangu Ram of all over the hills who have made these, you know, doorways. And in that quest, we went, you know, also to Narayan Swami Ashram, the villages Sosag, Sobha, all those, to document those doorways. And as you said, do a deep dive into this. So that's how the story began.
I think, and coming from your book also, again, it's a very systematic thing, the social structure, the caste structure, the migration to the cities, disinterest in continuing their, you know, ancestral professions. So many factors are kind of leading to this threat. So how can we still make this knowledge or this craft relevant and aspirational again, would be my next question to you, if you have any thoughts on that.
I think that is something we can't answer because it cannot be relevant and aspirational anymore. एक तो जो लकड़ी थी, टुन की लकड़ी, वो environmentally गायब ही हो गई है. There is no tun wood anymore in this part of the Himalayas, and that was a particular kind of cedar that has the resistant qualities where, you know, आप नक्काशी का काम उस पे कर सकते हैं. अब तो चीड़ है, ये हैं, these are all soft woods. And they do not take that kind of carving, and devdar, as you know, is extremely expensive and a little harder. So to think that, you know, that handwork of creating doorways to embellish homes as a status symbol, just like we औरतें सोना पहनती हैं, you know, that kind of status symbol, that I'm afraid is not going to happen. These are all going to be now museum pieces. It is not going to be part of your life. Whereas when I started researching this, I found कि ये हर घर में जहाँ उनको अपने आप को कुछ जैसे कि एक you have arrived दिखाना था, तो they would hire the best Rajmistri who could create this and embellish it sometimes with the gods and goddesses that they wanted, or even in the case of in the higher villages like in Milam and others, the Bhotia traders found some English lion somewhere because trading community है. जाते थे बरेली, छापे के कपड़े होते थे, तो उनको कोई फ्लड लीज मिल गया, फ्रेंच मोटिव or something, and they would come back to the Rajmistri and tell him, now you copy that and put it. So you have this amalgam of, you know, iconography, which is a lot of it is paramparic, parampara ki wo hai from high Sanskrit traditions, and a lot of it is local from the flora fauna. Ye cheese, this is a kind of thing with what we call the slow life, the life that went with a great appreciation for a certain aesthetic, a certain food, a certain way of thinking, a certain spirituality, which today, as we have discussed in other sessions, हरी बरी इधर सब वो चीज़ अब उस वक्त को लौटाना कुछ मुश्किल काम है.
So, lakdi ka kaam aur likhai, like you said, was one of these crafts, or let's not say was already, it's one of these crafts from the region. But other than that, there's so many other crafts as well. Copper ka Almora ka काफ़ी अच्छा सेंटर रहा है. Even iron smiths and then different art forms, apron, wool related, all the shawl weaving and so much. So how can we think just beyond wood also is something I'd like you to focus on. And I'd like to bring an anecdote from my own practice. So I practice in this village called Mart. I mean, our studio is over there, and very close to the village is another village, Balta, which is famous for having mistris, पत्थर के मिस्त्री, इसके लोहे के काम करने वाले जो आपका पतनाला बनाते हैं वो सब. And we have only the older generation. Yeah, we only have the older generation of the mistris left now who are still carrying on the crafts, who we are able to hire, give them the job of doing their bit at any of the projects. The younger generation, they want to get a degree, they want to get a white collar job, they want to move out of the whole system. And one is of course the aspiration of a city life, of a degree, of being the sahab. But it's also, I think, about the discrimination that they have faced for being a shilpkar or being of a certain profession over the years. So any takes on how we can perhaps as a society overcome that?
Well, I mean, of course, society only overcomes something when you give respect to that work. But a small anecdote comes to mind. We were, I think, in Munchiari. This is way back before Munchiari became a hot spot. And us waqt, I think there wasn't much transportation and other things. Because, as I said, we were going to Milam. So, मुझे याद है, we had to hire some gadha, some horses to take our, rations and crew and other things. And एक आदमी वहाँ जब आया तो हमने उससे पूछा कि आपका कास्ट क्या है, just out of curiosity. He said मैं शिल्पकार हूँ. And then he said कि मैं अब ये घोड़े गधे का काम कर रहा हूँ. And so I got curious and I said I must ask you something about your previous, कैसे आप लोगों की रहन सहन होती थी, क्या होती थी. Then he told me very clearly, and just remember I already prefaced what I was saying by telling you that I came from colonial Nainital and was not very conscious of what Kumaoni society is all about. And he said, हम जो शिल्पकार लोग हैं हम नौले के उस पार रहते थे. मैंने कहा इसका क्या मतलब? He said वो ये जो he was of course working for a Bhotia trader, but he said ये लोग तो ऊपर मल्ला वहाँ रहते थे और हम लोग नीचे जहाँ पानी का सोर्स दूर में रहता था. And I said what? He said अरे वो ज़माना धमकावे का था. धमकावा मतलब मैंने कहा धमका के काम किया जाता था. तो मैंने कहा इतनी पॉवर्टी में इतने आप in with so much of discrimination, yet you created these works of art. And where did those people come from who did this? He said we literally, as I told you, unsung heroes. So that discrimination in Kumaoni societies jisko abhi bhi hai, where the upper castes feel that anybody with the title of Ram or whatever else the surname may denote are people that are achut because they have come from a different migratory DNA than them. And that feeling of racial, looking down on different races, looking down on color, the pigmentation of your skin. These things were very strong in Uttarakhand, which I was to discover, and probably still are, but slowly perhaps it is eroding with the the influx of other cultures coming in. But it was something which was extremely sad, because by the time I started researching this, that whole Mandal Commission, of course, it happened, and so जागृति हो गई थी. Even my son would come from school and say, Mother, I need to wear a जनेऊ. मैंने कहा तुम्हें जनेऊ क्यों पहनना है? He said, everybody is saying कि मैं ब्राह्मण हूँ. So एक suddenly एक वो consciousness हो गई थी कि मैं ब्राह्मण हूँ, आप ठाकुर हो, आप ये हो, आप वो हो, आप ट्राइबल हो. And in fact, even the Bhotias would say कि हम सिंह लिखते हैं अपने नाम पे. And I say, आप सिंह क्यों लिखते हैं? He said, because we have to show we are another caste, we are upper caste. So the Singh denotes that we are from the Thakur community. So coming back to your point that ये जो disparity थी, ये जो ये लोगों का एक तरीके से बंटवारा था, even in terms of where their villages were. In fact, I'd like to digress and tell you, since you talked about Krishna Bisht, I went on a Padyatra with not Krishna, but अपनी ये जो in Kausani, that that school, नाम भूल रही हूँ, लक्ष्मी आश्रम, राधा जी से मेरा एक थोड़ा अच्छा संपर्क था, who is an environmentalist and a Gandhian, and she sent me to a village called Dania. And in Dania there was a postmaster in Manoli village नीचे. तो मैं वहाँ पहुँची और and I had to go on this पद यात्रा with them because as I mentioned I was doing a bit of journalism that time. और जब मैं वहाँ गई तो पद यात्रा we had to walk about 14 kilometers and go to another village called Bagpali. तो वहाँ से जब हम दनिया से बागपाली गए तो वो रास्ता और भी मतलब it started becoming, you know, when we say beauty of the mountains, और वहाँ तो जागेश्वर है and all these beautiful temples and 400 I think पुराने देवदार के पेड़ हैं, वो सब कुछ नहीं था. It became more चट्टान, more unwholesome, unwelcome, and we went down, further downhill to this village Bagpali, जिसमें लोग थोड़े से कपड़े भी पुराने soiled, गंदे, बाल भी वैसे थे, ये थे, वो थे, and you could see distinctly that this is not an upper caste village. And when I talked to them, I said कि आपको पढ़ना नहीं है, आपको साफ नहीं रहना है, क्या बात है? तो the same thing cropped up. They said हमारा water source जो है बहुत दूर है, क्योंकि हमारे पुश्तैने उस ज़माने में लोगों ने हमको यही रिहाइश दी. They gave us only this land to settle in and to feed our families, though we worked for them. We tilled the soil, haldar हम हैं, सब कुछ हैं, but our rihaish was always in such a disadvantaged way that we could not help ourselves and upgrade our living conditions, etc., etc. And I found that story for me at that time very interesting. I wrote about it. It was a story that was carried, I think, in all parts of the world through the feminist newspapers. But the point you said about, you know, this distinction of caste, the advantage, disadvantage, was very clearly seen in the Kumaon that I saw when I was doing this research.
And unconsciously, I think, as a society, we are not able to join the dots, and we all complain about losing our identity. हमारी लिखाई खत्म हो रही है, हमारा append खत्म हो रहा है, ये खत्म हो रहा है. But we don't realize that it is these very little nitty-gritties of our social structure and our day-to-day life that has actually isolated the craftsmen from our, from our culture, from the identity that we were so proud of having these carved doors, etc. And it's quite sad to see that happening. But I don't want to end this conversation there, but actually use this as a starting point of what could perhaps be the method of revival of, bringing the crafts back into our daily lives. And it's not only about the buildings, but in any other form as well. In the very beginning, you mentioned something about these doors are museum pieces. So maybe actually putting them on the map in different places and giving them that recognition is possibly one of the ways. But do you think there are some other ways in which we can look at some hope of reviving some of these crafts, if not all?
There's a part in this book, and I hope you all will look at it, which talks about stylistic influences and the way things have changed. But there was an experiment where there's a huge debate in Indian craft community and art community about the role of the designer in a traditional craft. So at that time, NID designers, SEPT ke architects, people from NIFT and others would come to work with craftspeople in different parts of the country, whatever the craft may be, and particularly in Kumaon, to try and see that how you can make that craft contemporary, purchasable. How can you, as you see nowadays, they put these Gond paintings on saris, or they put Madhubani on various kurtas and out. How do you transfer the craft into a living kind of culture where it becomes something that can be used? So the difference was that, when you take that craft, take a look at Khadi. Don't mind if I digress. Khadi is now, it started as something for everyone. हर आदमी के लिए खादी था. हम जब छोटे थे तो हमारे माँ बाप खादी कुर्ता पहनते थे. The men in our family. But today Khadi is an elite symbol, because a Khadi sari is very expensive, hand won, hand spun, etc., etc. And it's not just hand loom, which is on the loom. It is also the thread is spun by hand. So ये चीज़ें बड़ी elitist हो गई, and they are in the Crafts Council of Delhi, or they are in the shop called Kamla or something like that, where a sari will be not less than 8,000 rupees or something like that. So then the whole debate in NID became that then what is the point of bringing a designer there? Because you want to, revive the craft to make it part of everyday life. But it is again museumification, or you may say it is creating an elite thing. So we realized that finally that design has to go hand in hand with utilitarianism. So until it becomes a utility in everyday, पहले जैसे टोकरियाँ होती थी, baskets. Now everybody had a basket in their kitchen, एक नहीं दो तीन, जिसमें वो उन्हें परवल डाले, आलू डाले, whatever it is. So they went and they bought those baskets, whether it is of moonj or whether it is of grass or whatever it may be. But today you buy a plastic basket. So when you buy a plastic basket for 50 rupees or 100 rupees, and you want to buy that moonj basket which is for 500, then वो फिर आप decorate करते हैं अपने kitchen को, उसको use नहीं करते हैं. Because आपने उसमें नहीं धोने हैं अपने सब्जियां वगैरह. Because आप अगर धोएंगे तो आप कहेंगे मेरी तो 500 की टोकरी खराब हो जाएगी. So the concept, which a challenge for designers and architects and others like you, is how do we convert that into something that is used by everyone. घरों में कुछ ऐसी चीज़ें थी जो, जैसे आईपन की बात आप करते थे, तो आईपन was essential. It was there every day. The yantra, or the whole earth and fire, water, whatever it is that you were harnessing the power of the universe on your doorstep through that aipan, was part of the woman's routine. It was something she did. She taught her daughter, because uske bina to devta hi nahi aayenge ghar mein. So these things are something that are part of the design debate. And unfortunately, most people who are in this field are headed by government servants who are bureaucrats, who are posted there for 3 years or 4 years, who look upon it as a punishment posting. अरे भाई मुझे तो उसमें डाल दिया क्राफ्ट सेक्टर में, मुझे तो जाना है इंडस्ट्रीज में, या मुझे जाना है फाइनेंस में, आई वांट टू गो टू डिफेंस, बट आई हैव बीन शव्ड इनटू दिस सेक्टर. आई हैव जस्ट मेट वेरी फ्यू bureaucrats who enjoy the fact that they are in the craft center and they want to actually develop it. I remember, please don't mind me saying this because it's going to be very hurtful for people who come from the Uttarakhand cadre. I was commissioned by the Planning Commission years ago to write the craft report for Uttarakhand. और ये वास्तविक बात है, जब मैं गई देहरादून, मुझे फ़ोन आया वहाँ के चीफ सेक्रेटरी का कि मंजू तुम ये लिख लो, you've been roaming around the hills. And when I reached there, we had a very wonderful meeting, all due respect to retired and senior IAS officers, where the secretary industries and फलाने दिमाके 5 secretaries को बिठा के हमारी मीटिंग की गई कि उत्तराखंड की क्राफ्ट रिपोर्ट लिखनी है for the planning commission, so that we can find out what kind of initiatives we must have. And when we looked around and I asked all those people that, do you have any data on all these crafts that you're talking about? They said, हाँ ज़रूर ये वो नंबर मेरा ले लीजिए etc. We got no data. I got something from Mahila Haat, Krishna Bisht. I rang up Radha Didi, जो Radha Bhatt. She put me in touch with some other NGOs. उनके पास जो छोटे छोटे रिपोर्ट थे, कभी फंडेड बाय UNDP और XYZ समथिंग लाइक दैट, उनसे थोड़े थोड़े लेके फिर हमने वो DC हैंडीक्राफ्ट्स के लिए रिपोर्ट बनाई, जो फिर उत्तराखंड गवर्नमेंट के बिहाफ में प्लानिंग कमीशन गई, और उस बेसिस पे पॉलिसी बननी थी. So you can see the huge gap between the seriousness of such something like this, which is going to touch the, so many people's lives. So not only are we looking at a community of Shilpkars who were the underdogs, who were as good as what we said in used to say in UP कि भाई ये I don't want to use the word chamar, but इस तरीके से derogatory terms होते थे, and the same similarity here, except वो ज़माना यूपी में पिछड़ गया था, ख़त्म हो गया था फ्रीडम मूवमेंट के बाद. ये the word हरिजन came and many things changed, but पहाड़ में वो change नहीं आया था, मानसिकता में भी नहीं और बहुत चीज़ों में नहीं. And as I said, when Uttarakhand was created in 2000, and you had to create policy reports of this nature to change the dynamic of Uttarakhand, there was absolutely no interest or seriousness about it. Ab kya zamana laega aage? I don't know. Whatever I've said, it is no offense to the upper castes. I myself belong to them, but ek vastikta jo hai on the ground, that has to be stated.
So one is of course about revival, giving the due respect. Another thing, this is again a bit personal and coming from our experience of practicing in the mountains. I've crossed abandoned old houses in the rural areas of the region. खूंट गांव, पाटिया गांव, उनमें मैंने कुछ काम भी किया था of converting some of these old houses into homestays for a partially funded project. Often these abandoned houses, they're literally just dilapidating, and nobody is concerned about what's happening to these beautiful likhai doors and windows. We even went as architects that we can transplant them into some new houses because we have takers. We are fortunate enough to have those kind of clients who are interested to actually have a likhai door. At this moment, I'm struggling to find the number of a likhai artist who's willing to make a door. There's no likhai artist. There's one called Lalit Likhai in Peoda. He's so busy that 6 months waiting period hai unka to get anything done. So the next option was to find something old that is not being used by the original owners or the house owners, and maybe we can kind of transport it, revive it, do refurbishment, and use it in another place. But the problem is these houses are disputed. Centuries say the owners and the families haven't come, so nobody wants to actually put their finger on it because it's going to open so many more Pandora boxes that they don't want to get into. But do you think perhaps some kind of a push from the government, from the civil society organizations would help, where at least these unattended or like these kind of disused or abandoned places, maybe we can take these things back. The day-to-day consumers and house builders would perhaps find interest to actually pick something, pay for it, and kind of reuse it. But do you think this kind of a platform could work, and we should have one?
It's very interesting, and I'm glad you said this because I can see when young people like you come here and practice and have this passion for restoring what is old, तो बूंद जब डालिएगा ना, बूंद बूंद से तो ज़रूर चीज़ बनेगी. But you can see now, supposing I was in the south and we were talking about the wood carving of the south, जो मूर्तियाँ हैं, this would have been a packed place because everybody is familiar with that. They've used it. If we were talking about Kanjivaram sarees, ये सब लोग यहाँ भरे होते. But पहाड़ में craft, there's a session on craft. ये क्या चीज़ है? So you have to see that whatever you are doing has actually found its audience. That has never happened in Kumaon. They've never struggled to find an audience for what they themselves should be proud of. आप भटकी दाल देखिए 230 रुपए की बेच रहे हैं, मतलब सोयाबीन, because everywhere, thanks to NGOs, thanks to people like हमारे रानीखेत में उमंग हैं, वो door to door वो गाड़ियाँ जाती हैं to send this grain, thanks to Vandana Shiva, thanks to people like that. People have understood that okay, Kumaon has millets, it has certain dals, it has certain things which are for dietitians and others. They have propagated this. It has come into mainstream media. It has come into mainstream dialogue. It's come into some zen में आ गया है. तो हम कहेंगे अरहर की दाल 100 रुपए हम नहीं खरीदेंगे, हम ये खरीदेंगे 230 की, क्योंकि my body needs it. So that has not happened in Kumaon. As I said, you look at this festival, there are so many interesting things being talked about. But how many people in the city are engaging with that? Because efforts like these are slowly filtering into their mindset. उनकी मानसिकता में अब ये चीज़ जागृत हो रही है. You know, I remember when Panchachuli, that she started off Mukti Datta, and as I was telling somebody, I had gone to her because I wanted to go to the Hearts on the other side of Lipu Lake Pass. And she had this dream कि नहीं ये वुल की चीज़ें हैं. तो मैंने इसका ये मेरी माँ का शॉल है, अल्मोड़ा में बना था, अभी भी मेरे पास है. ये शॉल अब मिलते नहीं है. She said, we are going to start it. We are going to take it on. And today, Munchiari, those shawls that they have, they're beautiful. कि these are important people. This is a knowledge that is disappearing. जैसे water diviners राजस्थान में होते हैं, so these diviners. But people didn't pay attention. And now you have very few Raj Mistris who know which part of the pahad is kacha, which part of the pahad you can build on, which is earthquake proof, which is not.
Great part on these things. I mean, it is all very good. I would like to have, and the person who's providing it, the service provider, I would say, is he making enough money to continue his profession? Thank you.
Absolutely, and probably the way it does not include the cost of the wood, and it will take at least 10 days to do even just one single door without a lot of kind of the side doors on pillars and all of that. So you can do the math yourself. That means a lot of investment from the house owner towards supporting that craft of likhai. But it might not be possible for everybody, but wherever it is and whoever can afford, I think a small step would be to not do maybe the entire house, but have like one carved piece, one door, one window, whatever you can afford, and kind of do your bit to continue that little craftsmanship. I don't think there's any other way of doing it because of these changing dynamics of cost efficiency and time and all of that.
I think what you're saying is correct, that it has to be economically viable. But there's a difference in also one more thing which I can tell you, is that by the time this died out, likhai ka kaam jo khatam hone laga, maybe the 50s were the last time, maybe early 60s, उस वक्त इतनी जागृति नहीं थी. एक तो उत्तराखंड बना नहीं था. We were part of UP. And UP policies were just not coming to the hills. And it was a money order economy. भाई नौकरी करनी है तो plains में चले जाओ, cash मिल जाएगा, बाकी तो खैर गांव में खाने पीने को होएगा. So that was a very destructive period for the hills, because at that time was the time when we were laying all the 5-year plans. And the first 3, 4, 5 where you could have brought all these ideas into Uttarakhand. But Uttarakhand bana 2000 mein, jab tak is sab cheez ki wo permeation hua of these ideas. So in Gujarat, and especially Sankheda, you've heard of the Sankheda wood carvings, they immediately transferred that idea into little boxes, into jewelry boxes, into little wood panels. You can do other things with likhai. You don't have to do a door. You can even make dining chairs, or they didn't bring that design element into the hills because यहाँ पढ़ाई नहीं थी, यहाँ colleges नहीं थे, design school तो छोड़ो बहुत दूर की बात है, but they did not have anything, and the emphasis was, when you started, was agriculture. पहले तो पहाड़ में agriculture लाओ. So you lost those 40 years, those 40 decades, when emphasis could have been on things like this. और जो भी successful यहाँ कुमाऊनी होता था वो plains में थे, whether it's Hemanti Nandan Bahugna, a chief minister, or whether it is an ICS officer, IAS officer, whatever, और पहाड़ छोड़ देते थे. अब same thing has happened now in Milam. I'm sorry to digress, but Milam has one of the most well preserved likhai का काम on the doorways. और जब मैं गई तो हर घर बंद था, सब में ताले थे. बट भोटिया लोगों ने घर नहीं बेचा, उन्होंने दरवाजे नहीं निकाले. आई वेंट टू जागेश्वर. वहाँ उन्होंने कहा पांडे जी ने कि आप जल्दी से इसको खरीद के ले जाइए, जर्मन्स बहुत ले गए हैं, आप भी ले जाइए, कुछ मेरे को 5000 रुपये तो मिल जाएंगे. बट द भोटिया नेवर गेव इट. Years later, when I made that film, Jairam Ramesh was then the minister. He asked me for that film because they were going to open up the pass from the east. Arunachal side में वो एक व्यापार के लिए they were making that road to go to Kailash Mansarovar. So he wanted to know about the routing. So he'd heard about this film. In fact, that time General Rawat was I think the governor or something like that, and he'd come to actually we released the film in the Habitat Center, which is in 2000. बहुत पुरानी बात है. And he heard about it and he said, Manju, can you give me this? I want to see what we can add to our policy. उस वजह से अब मिलम का रास्ता बन गया है और वो सेम घर जिसमें लिखाई के काम है और बड़ी खूबसूरत लिखाई का काम है, यू नो, वेरी माइन्यूट. दोज हाउसेस उसमें सब में दिए जल गए, लाइट आ गई है. The value of those homes have gone up all the way. Remember, Tolia Saab was chief secretary and he used to lament the fact that Tolia गांव में वो जा भी नहीं पाते थे क्योंकि पगडंडी सी भी नहीं थी. You had to literally hop over stones to reach that village. But they never sold. The pride in their homes, the pride in what their ancestors left them amongst the Bhotia community was absolutely astonishing and astounding. And the sense of community, उनका संगठन इतना strong था कि एक आदमी नहीं करेगा तो दूसरा भी नहीं करेगा. And that is what preserved craft, preserved culture till the time when the cycle renewed and people have started going back to those. So you said something else, I brought it to this, but this is what will happen. And if you make items of that craft rather than doorways, you will find it affordable. Whether it's coasters or whether it is boxes or whether it is pencil box, कुछ उसमें तो आप लोग जैसे जो designers हैं, architects हैं, जिन्होंने ये घर बनाया, जो youth हैं, you should bring those people here and see that can revive the craft that is here.
Yeah. So we've been given the time signal, so we'll try to wrap it up now. But kind of ending on what Manjuji just said, I think you all should be proud of whatever crafts we have at our home and flaunt it. Again, going back to the Kanjivaram sari, just like we flaunt our Kanjivarams, take pictures, put it out on social media. Maybe that's the way forward for all the local crafts as well. You spot something, you have something at your own home. Please post it, make it wild. Yes, make it wild, and I think that is something that will bring the pride back among the locals for their craft and in whatever way keep it alive. And yes, and I'll give the mic back to Manjuji for closing gist of this session because we can go on and on if we had all the time in the world.
Yeah, I just want to show this photograph of this book. ये इतना उम्दा दरवाजा है कि आप देख के आपकी आंखें खुश हो जाएंगी. This is taken by Anup Sa. And when I started this quest, Anup, whom you all know is a celebrated photographer, in his home he took out slide after slide after slide from here to Milam and everywhere and said, Manjuji, ye bhi le lijiye, ye bhi le lijiye, ye bhi le lijiye. We have so many of Anup's pictures in this, including the cover photograph. But what was most interesting is School of Planning and Architecture, when they saw these photographs of Anup's, they got so interested and even intact that they then funded an expedition there to document these doorways, which are, at least we have the document. So I just want to end by giving a little credit to Anup Shah for these beautiful photographs that he's taken that has at least preserved this heritage, and give a shout out for the Shilpkar community, which should be celebrated as unsung heroes. And do look at this book also. I'm just mentioning it because Nicholas Roerich, the Russian painter, he's the one who left all the way from Moscow and came here to celebrate our Himalayas. और हम लोग उसी Himalayas को कुछ भी नहीं समझ सकते हैं और न समझते हैं. हो सकता है festivals like this will ensure that kind of feeling comes amongst us. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Let's flaunt our craft.
Thoughtful on how to serve people with sustainable crafts in design. Thank you so much Manju ma'am and Nikita ma'am for enlightening us throughout the session and making it engaging for us. Now I would like to invite Preeti Tolia, Regional Manager of TriFed Uttarakhand and Uttar Pradesh on the stage for a token of love. Please ma'am.